Hey, what's up, everybody? You're tuned in to DBYT Podcast, and I am Tyesha. Today's topic is going to be on hegemony or toxic masculinity, as we all know and love to talk about. So, to demonstrate what hegemony actually is, I'm going to be using the movie Incredibles 2. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it,
Bite my tongue? Never. See, what they don't know is they're tuning in to DBYT Podcast. And I'm just discovering the world around me.
Tyesha, I love you.
I feel like God is telling you to keep going.
You quit on yourself, you really down bad.
Tune in Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
All right, so yeah, I did a presentation on this a while ago when I was a senior in college. I was going to say high school, but college. And this is what it was about. It was about using this movie to give people a perspective about mythology. And I took an ideological approach and a cultural type of approach to analyze the movie. So a quick little overview over everything about The Incredibles 2. We have Elastigirl. She's been called to fight a life of crime, to make the public fall back in love with superheroes again, thus leaving her husband alone at home with the kids to take care of, This is Pixar's first superhero family, and it was released in 2018. That is 14 years after the original release, and it has won a total of 4 awards since then. So the first thing we're going to get into is basically, what is ideology? Ideology is a set of beliefs that are commonly accepted by the majority of a community. So, for example, that is, let's go to high school, find your high school sweetheart, go through college. After you graduate, let's get married, let's have kids, let's go boop, 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 type thing like that. Those are ideological things that we do believe in the society to make us function better and be better people and all that other good stuff. The main arguments that I'm going to be talking about today are gender roles in American households, femininity, and masculinity, and the effects of media. So first topic is the gender roles in American households. So they are often defined as roles and or behaviors that are learned by a person that is appropriate to their gender, determined by prevailing cultural norms, meaning the wife would cook and clean, take care of the kids, while the man go be the breadwinner. You go out, you make money, you fight whoever steps to me type thing. The norm. People tend to believe that women should be submissive, home-oriented, caring, emotional, kind, gentle, all that. But everybody knows that there's more than one type of woman. So take that how you will. But on the other hand, we expect men to be aggressive, dominant, logical, blunt, and emotionless. They cannot show any type of expression when it comes to, expressing how they feel about certain topics and, carrying on to their day-to-day life. Also, so we get into the movie a little bit more, where Helen is sought out to become the main source of income for her family, while Bob stays at home and takes care of the kids. And as we all know, this is basically happening right where they left off at from, the 14 years ago. But in their world, in their complex, it's basically happening verbatimly. That was cool. I like that. But yeah, house I think it had blown up, if I'm not mistaken, which had led them to be living in a hotel. But after she got this promotion, if you will, they were able to move into this really, 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 really nice house or whatever. It was cool. It was nice. Everybody loved it, except Bob, but we're going to get into that. But being assigned to these opposing gender roles gave the couple a little bit of perspective on this new situation that they were facing. So they would have to mold and adapt to make their condition work with their family. Now we're getting into femininity and masculinity. We are basically familiar with the terms, so just gonna, unpack it real quick. But Incredibles 2 unpacks different feminist and masculinity ideals. Since the beginning of time, there has always been an exception to how a character is supposed to be while on screen. Women need to be hush mouth, as like bare minimum words as possible, need to listen to their husband, need to do as they are told, need to make sure that everything is straight, while just being the back face, while the man is the more so face of the family. So I want to get into some characters. First off, we have Elastigirl. Helen Parr, aka Elastigirl, is the mom of Violet, Dash, and Jack Jack, and the wife of Bob Parr, aka Mr. Incredible. She is family oriented. She's assertive. Helen is now faced with a tough decision to leave her family and go, against everything that she was initially standing for. In the beginning of The Incredibles 2, her and her husband headed out at the dinner table because it was more like, what are we teaching our kids? What are we showing our kids if we do X, Y, and Z? But she started being less concerned with how the society would see her and started doing what she felt was right in her heart. Because though she felt it was right in the beginning, she also knew that it wasn't just about how she felt. It was more so about, what would this teach our babies type thing. And he was just like, we need to go fire. Anyways, going into Mr. Incredible while we on, his name. He on the outside looking in, he would seem like a stand-up guy and whatnot. But when he's put under different pressures, you see a different side of him, like an extremely different side of him. Personally, I'm not his biggest fan at all, really. But anyways, he's a stay-at-home dad right now by force because he was not chosen to go fight crime. Instead, his wife was. But he's manipulative. He's selfish by nature. You can tell that in the scenes where they were in their meeting, and at first he was all like, oh yeah, we're this, we're that, da, da, da. But then when his wife got picked, he was like downplaying her really bad, and that was not a good look. To me, it wasn't a good look. I didn't like that. It was like, how are you hating so bad on the woman you supposedly love, like the mother of your kids? I can't talk today. That's okay, bear with me. Anyways, he's easily angry and frustrated, and he undermines his wife's abilities almost throughout the whole movie, and it's sad. All right, so the moment you guys have all been waiting for, hegemonic masculinity, aka toxic masculinity. So Mr. Incredible is the prime example of this. He's a great example of what this could look like, what it could be, what it is, all that. So Mr. Incredible was the epiphany of hegemonic masculinity. So you have 5 things that basically tell you what will fall into this category. Starting off with number 1, we have physical force and or control. So not being able to go out and physically fight his enemies took a toll on him because he felt that it made his manhood invalid. And yeah. Number 2, occupational achievement. Mr. Incredible was not growing in this field of expertise because, as a superhero, you would think he would be outside fighting. But instead, he was doing the complete opposite, which was inside caring and loving and doing all of the, more feminine things. This could explain his undelightful attitude to him having to stay at home with his kids, though. Number 3 is wearing the pants. In his romantic relationship, we see that his wife has fully taken over. She wear the pants, he wearing the skirt. Take that how you must. But he would even get upset that Dash didn't want him to help him with his homework. He was like, he preferred his mom, but his mom was literally outside, doing her thing. And that made him feel like less than as a man. But, I digress. Number 4 is asking for help. Even men are really expected to handle things by themselves. No help. Don't ask other men because that will make you seem weak, make you seem like, less than, make you seem not as intelligent as you want to come off. Right. So eventually he had to come to the realization that he needed help. So he went to little lady. Edna. He went to Edna and Frozone, it was helping out. It was a whole thing. Then you have our number 5 coming in with heterosexuality. And Mr. Incredible was submerged in his hegemonic masculinity and did not start to soften up until the end where, he had no other choice. I also want to get into another character, Miss Evelyn DeVore. I think that's how you say her name. I cannot remember. Sorry if I butchered your name. cartoon character. Anyways, so she came off as an intelligent feminist who believed in Helen's abilities from the start. She was giving me, kind of homo vibes, but I digress. Showing support typically ensures that someone will be willing to be on your side. She has been through a lot of traumatic events of losing her parent and buries it deeply to keep her logical mindset. And honestly, she's misunderstood. If you looking at it from her perspective, I wouldn't like superheroes either. You're supposed to be there. And the one time I actually needed you to be there, you wasn't. So now I'm fatherless. Like, come on. I see why she's mad. But now we're going to get into the effects of the media. So the media has one of the largest impacts on how people see themselves and how they eventually model themselves after other people. One of the most striking aspects of post-feminism media culture is obsessive preoccupation with the body. Also, these types of characters encourage young women and girls to have unrealistic ideals of what they should look like and could lead to depression and poor self-image. And I feel like this is very much true because of the fact that a lot of women, like, we're going to use today's time. Everybody wants a BBL. Everybody wants a 360 lipo. Everybody wants to look like that girl. Everybody wants to look like a Barbie doll. Everybody wants to look like that because they feel that that is what's going to make them feel the most beautiful. Because so many people are doing it. All the famous people are doing it. And it's like, nobody really cares for the natural body because a lot of us are shaped like boxes. And I mean, I'm a part of the gang, probably the president of the gang. So, but it is hard for some women to just accept themselves as they are because we weren't taught that, hey, all of this is okay. Well, I'm not going to say I wasn't, but a lot of people wasn't. Or they just didn't pay attention to, some of the media that was around at the time. But I digress. The effects of media, here are some examples. You got self-image, you got development of opinion and influences. We definitely get a lot of what we feel is true through social media and through television, all that good stuff, because it's like, oh, this does actually make sense. Like, I never thought of it that way. And then we adapt it and adopt it as our own type of thing. And like, nobody really actually has an original idea. I just want to put that out there. I know that had nothing to do with hegemonic masculinity, but we don't have a original thought because literally we learn everything from somewhere or somebody. Just saying. But anyways, another effect of media would be the representation, the missed experiences, and alienation. And I say that because so many of us are focused on the digital aspect of our lives that we forget to just live in the moment. I have pros and cons to both. For example, when I went to my first Chris Brown concert, I was recording. I was there, I was screaming, but I wanted to cherish that moment and be able to look at it again and again and again. You know what I mean? Because that was a very important day for me. But another thing was when my phone stopped working that day, I was able to just like be there, be in the moment, be like, oh my gosh, I'm actually here. This is crazy. Like, we're this close, like far away from each other. But like, I see you in real life. Like, that's crazy, right? But anyways, yeah. And then the last thing was alienation, when we basically just box ourselves into these self spaces, I guess you could say. We don't really care for engagement with other people. We don't really care about any of that anymore. Like gatherings, what are those? Meeting up to actually do stuff with people. Don't really care for it. It's crazy. But anyways, these are my final thoughts and questions. Overall, this movie touched on a lot of topics and, it held the audience's attention throughout the whole movie. I mean, how could it not? But basically my final thought over the whole movie was not to become overly concerned with what's on your screen because you will allow your life to pass you by. And if you don't know what I mean, by now you should have at least seen the movie once. Everybody was being mind controlled because everybody was on the screen. Everybody was on the screen. If you was not on the screen, you did not get affected. But if you were, no matter what kind of screen it was, you was getting affected. Don't let your life pass you by. Go live. Go do your thing. But yeah, that's all I really have to talk about today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But if you have any questions on hegemonic masculinity, I can answer them to the best of my ability because I only learned it for a semester. But with that being said, I'm Tyesha and I promise I won't bite my tongue. Bye.